Yeah, you're getting into relationships with people way too fast before you even really get to understand them. And then you're blaming your own trauma and your own disempowering beliefs and narratives about yourself and your anxious attachment and all these other things instead of recognizing that there are underlying issues. This is especially so if you don't understand your own needs, preferences, values, wants. Especially if you have trauma and you're getting into relationships really quickly, it makes sense why you don't trust your partner and why you might be falling into anxious attachment. And a lot of that's because you haven't even actually gotten to understand who this person is as an individual. You just started dating them. So you all haven't actually built any type of rapport that shows you that this person is trustworthy or that you all are even compatible long-term or as romantic partners. So I'm not going to tell you all these issues and then not give you any type of resolution. One, I would do a self-inventory and start understanding yourself better. Do I have mental illness? Do I have neurodivergence? What's my orientation? What do I like? Who am I? What are the things that I like? What are my needs, preferences, values? How do I work with these things instead of against them? And that way I can start to understand and take care of my own needs as well as respect myself and like myself, as well as attract in people who are willing to do the same thing for me because I'm able to recognize if people are meeting my needs or not because I am myself taking care of my own needs. What do your relationships outside of romantic relationships look like? Do you have one or two people within your life that you trust, whether that's a coworker, whether that's a neighbor, friend at the gym, whatever? Before you even say anything like, oh, I can't trust people, start working on your disempowering beliefs and narratives about other people, whether that's romantic or platonic relationships with other people. How can you start to create a safe space within yourself to recognize who you're compatible with and who you're not? How can you allow more space to be more open and vulnerable to allow other relationships into your life, whether that's platonic or romantic? Next, I would write down what you want in friendships and romantic partners. Be reasonable because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start humanizing yourself as well as other people. Meaning you're going to want to get out of all or nothing perfectionistic type thinking. People are going to let you down. It's just the rate at which they're going to let you down. How often are you okay with people not showing up for you? Including yourself. If you're not okay with you consistently letting yourself down, then you have to start showing up for yourself as well, while also not getting mad at the fact that you can't show up for yourself 100% of the time. And neither can other people, but as you start to show up for yourself and understand your own consistency with yourself while also humanizing yourself, you're able to do that for other people. Next up, when you start actually going after a romantic relationship, make sure to look back at the list of what you want in a romantic partner. This will hold you accountable so that you're not just going after anybody who shows you attention, somebody who's just hot. Beyond that, something that's going to be really important is you're going to want to slow it down. If you do have really good relationships with other people that are friendships or coworkers or whoever, you're probably going to recognize the people that you trust the most in life might be the people that you've known for a long time, or at least people that you have had time to build that trust and that rapport with. Because when you start dating and you start to pedestalize somebody and you start to make excuses for them, or you start to create a narrative around this person that's not actually them, you're dehumanizing them and you're making them into what you want them to be, not actually who they are. And this can be for better or worse. You might turn them into a villain because that helps you support your own victim mindset. Yeah. Or they might actually be being a jerk and you need to work with them through that or recognize that it's an incompatibility and get out of that relationship. Let's go back to understanding and recognizing who you are as a person, your own needs, wants, preferences, and values. It's really important to understand what you want for your life overall and if dating that person is compatible for what you want in your life long term. You also want to consider how being around that person makes you feel. They might be a perfect person on paper, but if you do not feel like you all are compatible or it's just not working out, then it doesn't have to mean one thing or another about you or the other person. It just might not work out. While also taking into consideration that if you are somebody who has experienced a lot of trauma around relationships, that you might be feeling unsafe even in a safe situation. In which case, I would just say take time and take space away from that person and start diving back into your own life, your own needs, wants, preferences, and values. That's why it's important to know those things so that when you start to get anxious or you start to feel like you want to self-sabotage or you're second-guessing everything, you have enough time to take space to recognize if there actually is a problem or if that's just your trauma and disempowering beliefs trying to sabotage you. And you're able to do that while also making sure to get the things done within your own life that you need to make sure that you need to be taken care of. I'd also recommend looking into relationships and what that means to you and figuring out where you might be falling into codependent or people-pleasing tendencies. And remember that people-pleasing might not always look like what you think it does. It's not always being the person who self-sacrifices and does everything they can for other people. It can also be the person who manages other people. So I would strongly recommend looking into that. I think that's all I got right now, but if you have any questions or concerns, just let me know in the comments or leave a comment and let me know if you have any suggestions that might help as well. Otherwise, my name is Sarah. I'm your favorite self-experimenting coach or companion, and I help get people reacquainted with who they most authentically are. You're an amazing person, and I hope you have the best day.